y'all. Welcome back to my channel and the newest episode. This is Sonia with Navigating Seasons with Sonia. On my last episode, I left off with my intention to talk more about when I was admitted into the hospital in November of 2024, November 2nd of 2024 to be exact. So, what we're going to be getting into, as I always say, this is real, raw, and uncut. No big production, doing the best that I can. So, I hope you're with me and you're watching. I'm being very transparent and just letting it all out, okay? So, so November 2nd, 2024. I drove myself to the hospital to emergency because nobody knew what was going on with me. My bad. And I got there and I could barely breathe. And they, of course, triaged me, did the x rays, took the blood work, did all the things. And then the doctor came into the ER and said, Miss Finley, you're going to be here with us because we have to get this fluid off your body. You have 40 pounds. Y'all heard that. 40 pounds of fluid on your body. And if we don't get it off of you, it was all in my chest, y'all, all up in here because I could barely breathe. I could have drowned in my sleep. Anything could have happened. And so they said, you're going to be here for a while. We're admitting you. So they admitted me into the hospital. Once they got me to my room, I then sent out a text message to my family. My son called them to let them know I was there. He was like, why are you in the hospital? What is going on? And so he said, I'll be up there as soon as I can get there. And he was coming from his barber shop in Oakland. And I was in Vacaville at Kaiser. So, anyway, the whole family got up there that evening. What's going on? So, I began to let them know what was going on with my health. And basically, my kidneys were failing and they could not get the fluid off my body, which is why I had all my kidneys couldn't get the fluid out of my body, which is why I had all the fluid retention. And so the doctors had told me that my EGFR, which is a number that they use to find out what your kidney function is, y'all, it was all the way down to like 10% at that time. It was really low. And if you know anything about 1 to 100, 10% from 100 is not that great. So my creatinine, all my numbers were like not good, not where they needed to be, which is why I ended up in the hospital. So what they began to do at that moment from admittance was they began a slow drip of Lasix to help to pull the water off my body. They couldn't give me too much at a time because if they would, it would shock my kidneys and I would have gone into complete kidney failure. And your girl wouldn't be sitting here right now. Okay. So they began that on that Saturday, November 2nd. And that continued, when you're in the hospital, it's, around the clock, taking your blood, checking your vitals, watching your blood pressure, doing all the things. And they continued that for a week. Now, throughout that time, I'm just, my family's up there, people coming through, we hanging out. It was like Club Med for real, because the room was popping at all times. And the medical team was so amazing. They took such good care of me, from my nurses to my technicians, people drawing my blood, the phlebotomists, the hospitality, the people bringing me my food, everything. They just took such good care of me and they enjoyed hanging me out. And I'm gonna tell y'all one thing. I said, I don't know why I'm going through this, but God knows. I know who knows, and He knows. And the whole time I was in that hospital, some of everyone who came to my room, they wanted to pray for me, pray with me. I mean, everything. It was incredible, y'all. And I said, God, I don't know what you're doing, but you're doing something up in here because they all, I mean, and I'm the type of person I like to get to know people. I want to find out about your background, where you were born, where you come from, how you got here, how you ended up in this profession. I want to know it all because I like to get to know people. And they were sharing with me, and it was beautiful. It really, really was. So throughout this time, I'm on the floor and they give me this, y'all. It was this blue, like a light blue, like my jeans, hospital gown. I didn't really care for it. And I knew they had other colors. So they had yellow. And I love yellow. Yellow is a happy color, it's sunshine. And so I asked them, I said, can I get a yellow gown? And they said, sure. So they gave me yellow gowns. Now, while I'm there in the mornings, I would wake up, get myself cleaned up, shower, not shower, but sponge bath together. Um, I brush my teeth. I would do my hair, put on my smell good oil, all the things. Open up my shade, Febreze, my room. My room smelled it not like a hospital. It was amazing. And so people they would come in and like, oh my God, your room don't smell, don't look like no hospital room. I had tons of flowers and tons of fruit because I'm plant based, so I eat a lot of fruit. So I had a whole fruit stand in my room basically. So I'm offering the staff fruit and all these things. And they was just standing there and hanging out with me all the time. But one of the things I would do is in the mornings, I would always like to make my rounds, as I called it, on my floor, visit my neighbors, say hello, wave to the people, all the things with my pole, my IV pole. So every morning I would do that, and I would also do that in the evening hours to say goodnight to everyone. So when I'm on the floor this one particular day, I'm doing my thing, and next thing I know, in my yellow gown, and next thing I know, somebody is on my heels, and I'm like, "Who following me?" And I said, "May I help you?" It was one of the team members. And they said, "Oh, no, we're just, making sure you're okay. We want to follow you because you're a fall risk." I said, I'm not a fall risk. What do you mean I'm a fall risk? They said, oh, you have a yellow gown. That people who have yellow gowns on are fall risk. I said, I got a yellow gown on because it's a happy color and I like yellow. So from that day forward, the staff nurse, the manager of all the nurses, everything, she said, y'all leave Sonia alone. She like her yellow gown. She is not a fall risk. I said, thank you very much. So then they let me go about my business. So I would be on the floor getting my laps in, doing my rounds, seeing the people, having a good old time every morning and every evening. Because just because I was in the hospital, I wouldn't go stop moving my body. Remember, I told y'all movement is medicine. So I had to keep moving my body regardless. Um, so anyway, like I said, a week goes by and things were not getting better, just slightly better, but not better. And so my doctor, my nephrologist comes in on that Friday. So I went in on the Saturday, the November 2nd. So fast forward a week to the Friday. She comes by and I had some family there with me, and she asked me if she could speak. I said absolutely. And she wanted to share my numbers, where we were, what the options would be. And so she sat there and she showed us everything and we talked about it. She said, okay, Miss Finley, we have some decisions to make. I said, okay. And she said, you have three options. She said, if we do nothing, option number one, if we do nothing, you will go into kidney failure and you will die. She said the second option would be a transplant, but that's not going to happen in the time we need it to happen. It's not going to happen right away. She said the third option, she said we can dialyze you and get this fluid off your body. You'll feel better and you will live. And you can live for a very long time while we're waiting for a kidney donor, a transplant. She says, I know that's a lot to take in, a lot to think about and process. And y'all, it really was. It was. It was very emotional. I couldn't believe it. Like, wow. So, in that moment, that time, that Friday, She said, well, I'll leave you with that. I'll come back tomorrow and we can discuss what you've decided. And I said, okay. So she left. My family was there to console me, thank God. And that evening, my son came up and the rest of the family. So I had to share this news with my son, my one and only son. And he sat beside me at that hospital bed. And I shared with him what the doctor shared with me. And he looked at me and he said, Mom, you're all I got. I need you here. I want you to live. And if that means that it's dialysis so that you're here and you live, you can do it. You're strong. You can do it. And we'll be right here by your side. And so, in that moment, on that Friday night, once everyone cleared the room and went home, I sat there in that room and I did a lot of talking to God, a lot of praying, a lot of crying. And I even spoke to my pastor at like 3 o'clock in the morning, and he spoke with me and we prayed. And that Saturday, when the doctor came back and she asked me if I had made a decision, I said, yes, I want to live. I want to live. So we're going to need to do whatever we need to do to get this dialysis started. She said, okay. She said, well, the IR doctor is going to be here on Monday. So I'm going to get you on the calendar so we can go ahead and get your catheter placed, which a catheter was placed in my chest. So that's where we ended up on that Saturday. And I'm going to end this episode here and I'll pick it back up on the next phase and getting the catheter placed, the operation and everything that came along with that. And we'll continue on this journey. So again, thank you for stopping by. Thank you for your time. I hope this was a good investment of your time. Thank you for navigating with me. And I'm right here to navigate with you. And I'll see you next time. Smooches.